Hey everyone, and welcome to another Meta Monday. Last Monday I covered Miraidon Box. This week we are going to cover the other Miraidon base deck, which is Joltik Box. Joltik Box is considered the better of the two Miraidon base decks and revolves around Joltik to quickly put energy onto your Pokemon so you can get fast knockouts. The key cards of the deck are, of course, your Joltik with Jolting Charge, being able to put 2 grass and 2 electric energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like from your deck. The main attacker in the beginning is going to be your Iron Hands, allowing you to be able to hit with that Amp You Very Much and get 2 prize cards right off the bat. We do run 2 copies of Miraidon EX as well as our main way of getting out all of our electric-based attackers, which, speaking of other electric-based attackers, we do have Pikachu EX, which is generally our mid-game follow-up. This one requires a grass, a lightning, and a metal, but does 300 damage, and has an amazing ability, the Resolute Heart, which prevents it from being one-shot as long as it's at full HP before it takes damage. We also are running the new Zekrom EX with its Voltage Burst, allowing us to one-shot in the late game along with our Ursaluna. So that way then we have 2 different options, with one of them being searchable. Other than that, we are running the Genesect, the basic single prizer with Ace Nullifier, just allowing us to turn off Ace specs that we don't want in certain matchups. And then we're also running things like Clefairy because it just requires 1 Psychic. And then we are running the Iron Leaves because we are using the Joltik to get 2 grass energy, so might as well run this for our dark type matchups. We also run the Latias because most of our Pokemon are basic, and the Galvantula to put on top of a Joltik for late game so we can have another grass attacker that can easily attack. As for trainers, we are running the Prime Catcher as our ace spec with 4 copies of Crispin, 4 copies of Boss, and we are running the new Air Balloon as well, and then we are choosing to run Brave Bangle too. This is a huge card that helps out, especially if we can attach it to other things like the Galvantula, allowing him to hit for even bigger numbers to guarantee one-shots on things like Charizard EX. Other than that, we are running a Gravity Mountain to help with the Stage 2 Pokemon like the Gardevoir EX and with the Dragapult EX as well. For our energy lineup, we are running 2 Metal, 5 Electric, 2 Psychic, and 5 Grass. We really need to make sure that we have the 2 Metal and 2 Psychic so that way then we can at least get 1 of each when we need it for our attackers, for the Clefairy for the Psychic, and the Metal for the Pikachu. Now then, today I have for you 3 games, and as always, before I show the games, I just want to shout out, please give me a like, hit that subscribe button as well if you really like this type of content. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, so if you like this type of stuff, this is the channel to go to. And without further ado, we'll go on to game number 1. Alright, so game number 1, we see a Fan Rotom in what looks like a Terra box, but we did open up real good, especially for going first. So here we got a Miraidon. Usually with this deck, you always want to go second, but sometimes you're forced to go first, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Here we will manually attach to the Miraidon. We're also going to put the future booster down on our Iron Hands, so he has free retreat and 20 extra damage when he does attack. And then next turn, we're most likely going to be trying to aim to go to our Joltik and get that Iron Hands pumped up. And here we see the star of our opponent's deck. We see that little Raging Bolt back there. So this is one of our kind of riskier matchups. They can one-shot most of our stuff, and that's where Pikachu EX comes into play, because we'll be able to one-shot their bolts, but they're not able to one-shot our Pikachu. So here, they're just getting everything set up. They're going through a bunch of their deck already. So here we top deck a Pokegear, but we already have a Crispin, so we don't really need to worry too much. The Clefairy can come in clutch here as well, being like our main way of one-shotting aside from the Pikachu EX, because Pikachu has a big downside of discarding all energy attached to it, so you have to rebuild it up. Here, we're just going to Miraidon real quick. I just want to check my deck, see exactly what's in here. We still have our Ace spec, we still have a Metal Energy. So we are, I'm thinking about Crispinning, but I'm just going to Joltik here. Just get everything set up, because we can always use this one Crispin as an easy way to completely power up this Clefairy if they put their Raging Bolt into the active, and we can immediately get 2 prizes just like that. So it's a nice little 2-card combo right there if you count the Clefairy on the field. So here they go into a Noctowl, but they kind of made a mistake right here because they have no Terra Pokemon. So I think that they were just a little ahead in their game plan of what they were going to do. So kind of stinks for my opponent, but I've been in his shoes before, you know? We've all been there where we're playing like a Terra box, or we're playing a deck that has to have different sequencing that's very specific. So here, I'm just thinking I could boss orders, but I'm just going to get 2 prizes right there, because I was going to boss up their bird back there, be able to get 3 prizes this turn because it is weak to the electric damage. Their Squawkabilly. They have 2 birds, sorry. So here they do find a Fez though, and their Bolt is ready to attack, and now they get their Ogre Pawn down. And they also have the Crispin, so this Iron Hands is definitely going to get knocked out right here. They're going to easily be able to knock it out. But that's fine, because we can get a reverse knockout with this Clefairy instead. So we also got 2 Crispin in our hands as well. Let's see, who all does he discard energy from? Okay, so it takes all of the energy that he did have on the board, which is nice, you know? We don't have to worry about him saving any energy for a later turn. There's the Galvantula, but I don't want to put it down just yet. Here, we're going to get the Psychic, and then we're going to get a Metal. We're going to put the Metal in our hand, and we're just going to attach the Grass from our hand, so we can keep this Metal later on for the Pikachu EX. And the reason why we're not going to put this Galvantula down on our Joltik just yet is because later on I may need to throw it up if this Clefairy gets knocked out to be able to power up our Pikachu. That way then we can still swing with it and take a complete one-shot knockout with it. So here we are down to only needing 2 more prizes left. We also got that Zekrom EX down on the field. They find the Bolt again. So they can easily KO a Bolt with a Ogre Pawn still in the field, because all they have to do is get like a Crispin or a Sadas and then get some manual attaches. So here they do Sadas. So they put on 1 energy. They got a big old 10-card hand as well. So here they go with a second Owl, so they're going to be able to find other ways of getting their energy. So they could get things like a Earthen Vessel here, and they actually just grab a way of getting energy back from the grave, and then they got their Stadium. So here they get a second Ogre Pawn down. And then, yeah, there's the energy retrieval that they had searched out as well. So they got a Lightning and a Grass. So they're going to be able to Teal Dance here, get an extra energy. Put down a 3rd Raging Bolt. And then they put the Lightning on that Bolt instead of going into the other, like putting it on the other one to knock out our Clefairy, which just means that this boss is game. So they made a couple misplays there. They easily could have cleared the Clefairy. And now we're on to game number 2, and we, right off the bat, we have a pretty bad hand. We do open up the Miraidon though, and we see that there's a Charmander and a Duskull. So it looks like this is some sort of Charizard Dusknoir variant. of Charizard, so hopefully there's no Pulse in it. That would be kind of crazy. A deck that has all 3 of those together just feels like it would be a nightmare, so that's probably why no one does it. But here, we at least got everything set up. We put the Bravery Charm on our Joltik solely to keep it alive so they can't, like, boss it up and then be able to swing into it real quick just to get rid of it. So here they are playing a Precious Trolley build. So they get 2 more Duskulls, another Charmander, and then they get the Tatsugiri. And then they have the TM Evo, so they are completely set up. Like, this is probably the dream start for them. As for us, our hand is looking horrible. We top deck a Energy, so that's good. But we hit nothing with our Pokegear. So we are going to have to get rid of this Galvantula, get rid of this boss, and I'm just going to have to get a Mew. I was looking for the Latias, but looks like it's prized. So we do get to draw. We find with our Pokegear that we drew from the Mew's restart ability into an Arven. So Arven is huge here. It's going to allow us to grab the Air Balloon and then also grab a Nest Ball for later. So here we can just attach the Air Balloon. We can go back into our Joltik. We're going to be able to manually attach, and we're going to be able to get our stuff set up. So here I'm just going to attach to the Iron Hands. Most likely they're going to be going into a Charizard next turn, and I could just swing with the Iron Hands and be able to do like decent damage with it. But this also makes it so I have like other answers that I can find. So like if I find another Ultra Ball, I can go into Iron Leaves and be able to get a knockout. And if I find a way of getting my Galvantula back, well, now I need to get a new Joltik as well. But I have different things that I'm worried about here, especially because they have like the entire brigade in the back of the Dusclops. So that makes our Pikachu EX 10 times worse. Here we Super Rod back our little Joltik lane, and then we're going to get down the Fezandipiti. We're going to restart first so we get to see a total of 6 cards instead of 3. So here we do find some decent cards. We could Iono, but that would just help them more than it would like hurt them, and it wouldn't really help us too much right here. So I'm just thinking like, okay, he's not gonna, so I do still Iono, but he's not going to be able to one-shot my Iron Hands. So I'm going to throw down this Joltik. I'm going to retreat. I was going to retreat into the Joltik, but then I'm like, no, because I really need the Galvantula. So here, I'm just going to go into the Pikachu instead, because he's not able to one-shot this unless he pops one of his Dusclops. So he has to use that to be able to break the ability on my Pikachu, which, hindsight being what it is, I do think that I should have just swung with the Iron Hands. He would have been able to still get a knockout on it and probably been able to take out the Joltik in the same time, but I do think that that's probably the play that I should have done, so that way then I could at least knock it out on the following turn. So here they do find a Dusknoir. So this is real difficult for us. We are in danger zone completely. They are ahead in the game 1000%. So I'm just thinking about ways that I can get out of this, and there's very few of them. So here they do pop one of the Dusclops, so it does give us a prize card. We find another Crispin, which isn't going to help us here. Our main answers at this point is going to be the Galvantula, and then it's also going to be the Iron Leaves and the Zekrom EX. Those are like the only real answers that we have. So here we top deck an Arven, but we're going to need this Crispin because Crispin will allow us to be able to attack with a Galvantula this turn. So if we do get rid of the Stadium and a Psychic, we find the Galvantula. We are going to Crispin a Grass and a Electric Energy, so that way then we can swing this turn with the Galvantula. And then here we're just going to Fez real quick, get 3 cards, see what we get. Nothing crazy. We are able to one-shot this Charizard EX though. And then here we finally find the Latias EX, but we don't really need it anymore. And they already have a Charmeleon, so all they really have to do is find like a Arven, which they found the Arven. They also have a Buddy Buddy Poffin, so they're going to be able to get their board with a little extra fluff. So they find another Charmander and a Duskull, and then they Arven. They're most likely going to find a Ultra Ball here, and they do, so they're going to Super Rod back a couple things. So they Super Rod back the Charizard EX with 2 energy, and then they use the Ultra Ball, find that Charizard. Now they're going to be able to swing again. So they're going to take another prize here. They could actually just end the game right here and then, which it looks like they are trying to do. So here we get a prize card. We only need 2 more, but they are going to be able to take 2 prizes right now onto the Mew. So it's down to 1 prize for us, down to 1 prize for them, but they can still attack this turn. So that is all she wrote for game number 2. We tried our hardest, I will tell you that. Alright, so game number 3 is against a Wattrel variant of the Miraidon box. So when I first saw this, I was like, cool, you know, well, it got my head spinning a little bit. What about some of the Iono's Pokemon with the Miraidon and the new Eel, you know? How would that work? And it's pretty cool to see that people are still innovating on the Miraidon box, so that way then it gets even better. Because sadly, it's not performing as well as a lot of people want it, myself included. Here, our hand doesn't look terrible, so we're just looking through. We are going to grab this Miraidon. We prized 1, so we are going to grab a Pikachu EX and a Iron Hands. And then here we have the Arven. So we will be Arvening. We can grab the Bravery Charm, but I'm thinking I'll just grab a Future Booster instead. And then the Pokegear. We don't really need another Nest Ball. We don't need the Ultra Ball right now. So here we're just going to manually attach, put on that Future Booster, and then we are going to power up, like always, our Iron Hands. So if you do want to play this deck, just know most of the time, it's like 9 times out of 10, the correct answer on your first Joltik charge is going to be power up the Iron Hands. You always want to take 2 prize cards in the very beginning as soon as you possibly can, and Iron Hands is going to be the way that you do it. The other priorities for you is depending on like matchups. So like that Charizard EX that we just faced, you may want to prioritize like a Zekrom EX, or you could even prioritize your Miraidon and just power him up. But for the most part, that matchup's like really difficult to figure out exactly what you want to do, and it depends on like, do they have the TM Evo? Here they do have the Kill Wattrel down, so I was just reading its ability. It's a really nice draw engine for the Miraidon deck. So I think that's the main reason why they're using it, kind of like how sometimes decks use the In Zoroark as just like an extra draw engine. So here they are pretty much set up, but they really just need to get some more energy down on the field to actually start swinging. So here they do use Lavencia, they get back a singular energy, they attach manually, and then they put down a Bravery Charm on their other Miraidon, And then here, they're going to go into their Miraidon just to tank a hit. So that way then they can power up their Iron Hands for the next turn. Here, we just Pokegear. We already have 2 boss, but we're just trying to figure out like what else we can do extra here just to give us like a couple more answers. So here, I'm just thinking, okay, I could grab another Pikachu EX, but I kind of want to leave a spot open. So I'm just going to grab the Zekrom instead. And then here we got the Crispin. I'm going to grab a Grass and a Steel. I'm going to put the Grass in my hand, put the Steel down, put down the Grass as well. That way then we already have the Lightning in hand. And then we're going to use our Ace Spec right there so we can take out this Electric. So they can't keep getting electric energy from the grave for free. We also got 2 prize cards, and our prize cards honestly were probably the best that we could want in that situation. We have a Nest Ball to get into a Fezandipiti if they do take a knockout here. And then the Earthen Vessel isn't terrible either. That way then if we get Iono'd, we at least have another way of searching out some energy. Here they do hit on their electric generator, and then they got another one. So looks like they hit on that one as well. Let's see, how many energy did they hit this time? Because it looks like they only hit 1 on the first. This time they hit 2. So they got the max that they could out of it. Here they attached the air balloon to the Zekrom EX. And then they use Galvantula to be able to get a electric energy back. They're manually attaching to another one, and then they have the Prime Catcher themselves. So it looks like they're taking out our Joltik for 2 prizes as well. But we are completely fine with this. Why are we fine with this? Because we have the Pikachu EX completely ready to go. So here we are just going to throw up our Iron Hands though, because we're going to manually attach. We have these bosses orders, but first let's get out this Fez. That way then we have a draw engine that's real nice for us right now, being able to draw 3. We find a Bravery Charm, so we are going to throw that. I'm thinking about putting it on Fez, and I am. So here we're going to boss up their Kilowattrel, be able to knock that out. It's a electric Pokemon that is weak to electric. I don't understand why, but it is. Either way, we would have had enough damage, and our opponents concede. So that is all the games for today, and this is the deck list in case you want it. So please leave me a like, hit that subscribe to see more videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Have a good day.